means that security is much better. If you guys are familiar at all, there's a lot of problems with security on other blockchains because somebody will copy and paste a smart contract, and there will be some sort of I don't know, a malicious code in there that once it gets into somebody's wallet and somebody interacts with the NFT, uh, the wallet gets wiped out, somehow, some way. And on Cardano, you don't have that issue because it's a native asset, so it can be sent and received the same as the token itself on the blockchain. So it's pretty cool, and it really helps with security. But yeah, creating NFTs is pretty easy actually. I can't speak much to it on Solana or Ethereum or any other blockchain, but Cardano, there's a lot of different resources. People can basically cnfttools.io, I think, is one of the sources that people could go to. There's a project called it's called the Alexandria Project, and it's a friend of ours named Nudes, Noodz on Twitter. And essentially, what he's done, he's trying to gather the entire knowledge of the world and put it on the blockchain so it can't be destroyed. And it's called the Alexandria Project after the Library of Alexandria, which of course famously got destroyed by an earthquake or a fire. Well, it doesn't matter what it was; it's just gone, right? And it was supposed to be the kind of the gem of the world back then. So if we could take knowledge and put it on the blockchain where it can't be destroyed, that's beneficial to people in the future. So Nudes has developed, I think, several videos, and there's a Discord. If anybody has any questions, they can find me on Twitter or Jamil. If you have a place where I can present some links or whatnot, or maybe a future talk where I can provide some more links for these things, I think that'd be really cool. But there are a lot of resources for people. That yeah, I can, yeah, after I get done speaking, I could find a Discord link to, it's called This Crazy Life. And it's an NFT project called the Refresh. And so Nudes and This Crazy Life, that's his handle. They created several different videos from beginner all the way to, let's call it expert on minting NFTs and what metadata means in an NFT, so on and so forth. It can get pretty complicated, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that difficult. It really isn't. You just have to understand certain fundamental things about what an NFT is. Um, but most of us get involved in some way, even if we're just like crypto, or we just like the community of Cardano. Most of us get involved with NFTs because they're fun. And if you pick the right project, it can gain in value quite a bit. So it's a way to kind of multiply your gains, especially like in a bear market where, crypto price movement's not going to be much. Where are you going to get your gains? Well, if you research a team that's launching an NFT project, it's cool art, or it's providing some sort of utility, and maybe the team doxes themselves and they kind of let everybody know who they are, their business skills, and where they come from. Yeah, you can kind of make a bet, let's say, on the investment. And so instead of ADA going up, I don't know, maybe 50% in the next year, you get an NFT project that you buy with ADA, and maybe it two, three, five X's, 500%, whatever your investment is. And it's not going to happen every single time, but so far they've been pretty decent bets. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of the basics about NFTs. Are there any specific questions that people have? Just Web3 and crypto? So I'm 41 years old, and when I graduated high school in 1999, it was essentially the beginning of the tech boom. And I was young and dumb. My family had got me some stock, but not that much. Joined the Marine Corps, got a little bit of money, invested in some companies, like Apple and Microsoft, Sun Microsystems, Cisco, about $1,500 worth. And I wish that I would have kept those investments over the years. Obviously, at some point, they would have paid off tremendously. Also, if I would have learned to code, back then, I could have. I've had a successful career. Don't get me wrong. I've always made decent money. I worked in aviation. Now I work in telecommunications. But imagine if I was a developer back then, and I'd been working for 22 years as a developer, or 20 years. I've been making 100,000 plus for 20 some years, and that's kind of the thing. It's an opportunity. What can you apply? What skill set can you learn now that's going to be utilized for the next 20 years? Just like Web 2.0 was coming online back then, Web 3.0 is coming online now. And so if you have an existing skill set and you can utilize it within Web 3 and then learn other skills within Web 3, you're set. And again, the mission of Camo is to try and provide purpose, and community to people, transitioning veterans. So what better way to give that purpose than, someone finding gainful employment, right? Because we all have friends, and maybe we've been there ourselves, where we didn't have enough money and it just caused stress. And, the relationship wasn't going well because you lost your job or whatever the case. So we're just trying to make veterans aware that there are opportunities right now, and there will continue to be opportunities for the foreseeable future in Web3. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask, do you have any projects that you're really interested with right now as far as NFTs that offer utility?
I guess it depends on how you define the utility, but there's a couple cool projects on Cardano. One's called the Frescoes, and I don't think it's cheap right now. It's maybe 400 ADA to buy one. I think it's the floor price of $200 essentially. But what Frescoes does is it acts as kind of a ticket. If you own a Fresco, then there are a lot of like real life discounts and exclusive things that you can do. Like I think the team is based in Europe, and they have a connection with some sort of a helicopter, um, like tourist kind of thing in Spain or Portugal. So if you have a Fresco and you kind of wanted to do a once in a lifetime trip, go to Spain, Portugal, and do a helicopter tour, instead of paying $1,000, now you're paying, I don't know, $400 or something like that. And they have connections with hotels as well. There's a Cardano hotel in Barcelona, and I believe they have a connection there, so you get discounts. So imagine that a project comes out and it's the same thing as Frescoes, just doing it a different way. It's minting right now and it's selling for 50 ADA. Well, if you take advantage of some of the discounts that they have in place, you're going to make that $25 back real quick. And so I think that's a pretty neat one. And there's always new projects popping up every single day. People trying metaverse projects, right? Um, it's kind of insane and a little overwhelming if you're just starting to dip your toes into it.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Just continuing my quest into learning this stuff, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting stuff out there. So thanks for that.
And if anybody's interested in learning more, please give me a follow on Twitter, and also Corey Shaw Dog. Both of us we're part of the Cardano community. We're in Twitter often, in Discord as well. We're in spaces quite often, and we're involved with people whose essentially their mission is to onboard new people, to help new people understand what certain things are in crypto. What is blockchain? What is a smart contract? And also we know people that are creating some crazy stuff, you know, DAOs, um, you know, DeFi, stable coins. We're fortunate enough to have been around in the community for a really long time, so we've rubbed elbows with a lot of people creating some neat stuff. So please connect on Twitter. And if you see us in a Twitter space, we might just be hanging out, you know, chatting with each other, having fun. But often the people who are in the room having fun, yeah, they're probably some sort of expert in some fashion. So, you know, follow us into a Twitter space and talk or something and get to know us. I think you'll like it.
I have a question for I guess like a big piece of what I'm hearing with the NFT piece is actually just the smart contracting technology, and I'm wondering like what maybe the feasibility behind having other people learn and kind of replicate that or adopt it in their own stuff. I just think of the music industry, for example, where you know, in the past they'd have to go through the record industry, right, to get their cut for if you're a musician. But then now, like especially like with startups, for example,
Perfect.
say that again. Oh, I was going to say, like, especially startups where like folks might be trying to figure out how to fairly split things out or make sure that, you know, even just automating payroll in some ways, you know, like I, I imagine that'd be really useful. And like, how do you see that interfacing with NFTs or like making that more available? Oh, he dipped out. All right. Well, okay.
Hey, I got a question, guys. What? Okay, you talk about Cardano. What is that?
Cardano is it's a cryptocurrency, but it's its own blockchain. Like it doesn't work off of Bitcoin. It doesn't work off Ethereum. It's its own blockchain, and yeah, and basically Cardano's mission is to, you know, basically change the world, help people, fix things. When I first got into Cardano, what got me hooked on Cardano was when I first got into cryptocurrency was they did a basically they opened up. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. Basically, they gave everybody in Ethiopia, Africa, their own identity. Like so, they can put their identity on the blockchain. And once their identity is on the blockchain, it can never be changed. Nobody can take it from them. And that was the biggest thing that I loved about it because when you're over, if you've ever been to Africa or any of these third world countries, one day, you know, these guys, they'll be a doctor for 20, 25 to 28 years. And one day somebody's going to come up and be like, yeah, you're not a doctor anymore. And there's nothing they can do. They don't have that. They don't have any proof of anything that they've done. So I think that was the biggest. That was what got me into Cardano was that, and they've already done this. They've already started putting their identities on the blockchain. So I mean that was the biggest thing that got me. And another thing is you can't really. You know, you can track everything. For instance, I have a little farm. I take care of an airfield, and there's about 50 acres there. So I got a bunch of hay. I've got an acre of corn I'm growing, and all this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting that onto the blockchain. So um, later in the future, you can't do it today, but later in the future, you'll be able to go on your phone or an app, and you'll be able to you'll walk up to the bananas. We'll walk up to the bananas. They'll have a QR code on it, and you can just click on that QR code, and you can tell exactly where that vegetable came from, or fruit. It came from this farm. They used these chemicals, and these chemicals were produced by this company, and it's all there. Like there's nothing that you can't hide anything. So that's the big thing. Uh, that's what I really like about it, and so that's what we're trying to work on now when it comes to that kind of stuff.
So it's cardano.org.
Yes,
Okay, because I'm looking at the site and I'm like trying to figure out.
yeah. There's a few different when it comes to Cardano. You have IOHK. I'm not sure exactly what that stands for, but that's part of Cardano. It's part of the company. You have Cardano Foundation, which is a huge part of Cardano, and I think there's a third one. I can't remember exactly. I'm sorry. I'm not, like I said, I'm not huge. Technically, I'm not a technically savvy person, so I'm just.
Sounds like you know more than me though.
Well, maybe when it comes to Cardano, I might, but when it comes to technology itself, I'm not all that bright. But yeah, if you look into it, I'm friends with a lot of people. Like, for instance, if you look at BuffyBot, right? It's it's not only it's a place where you can make your own NFTs. All right, and I'm friends with him. He's a coder. He coded the whole thing himself, and like there's a lot of really smart people, and luckily the space is small enough now. Right now, the space is small enough to where you can become friends with these people. I figure, like when I first got in, cryptocurrency was huge. I was buying Cardano at 310 a piece. That's when I got in, and now it's at 50 cents, and I don't even care about the price because it's just I've been there working with all these guys, and it's almost like family in a way. Like it's almost like being in the military. You make friends with these people; they're part of your family almost. And I think this is a great time to get in for anybody that wants to develop anything. Really, uh, that's just how I see it. Yeah. Yes. And if you ever want to get into NFTs, just so you know, uh, you can't put an NFT in the Coinbase wallet. You have to have Cardano native wallet. And there's quite a list. Uh, I can probably write some out for you in the chat.
You know what? Hey, I'm back. I think my phone is melting down. And also the reception. So I just I went downstairs. Uh, so everything is good now. But that's a very good point, Shaw, that you made. Wallets. It's a lot of people have lost a lot of serious assets by sending NFTs to like a Coinbase wallet or a Kraken wallet or something. You can't. It's gone at that point. You have to have an actual wallet that's affiliated with whatever blockchain that you're in. So Ethereum, yeah, you'd have to have OpenSea is one, a MetaMask, excuse me. Solana has Phantom, Cardano has several, Eternal, um, Nami, Daedalus, and all of these things we're trying to. That's the reason why Camo was created. Because a veteran stepping in or anybody is they're not going to know any of this stuff. So you have to start at the very beginning. How do you set up a wallet? What is a wallet? What is blockchain? What can you do with a wallet? So on and so forth. So we have several Twitter spaces that kind of focus on this specifically. One's called Flawed Beginnings, and Flawed is a pretty big part of the Cardano community, and he'll answer any question that anybody has, especially from a beginner, because he remembers the day when he was a beginner and didn't know anything. So, anyways, yeah, these are important things, especially to new people. So if you have any questions, you could always reach out to me, on Twitter or or if you have Discord as well, you can reach out to me there. yeah, anybody interested in AI, because that's a big thing, especially with, yeah, with NFTs and man. So Shaw's been dabbling in a lot of AI. Um, we know people who are like deep down into AI, and can go down to the nitty gritty. You know, we're not talking about using programs like DALI. We're talking about, you know, coding, you know, to create AI, and it's really fascinating. So if anybody wants to connect in that way, there's a guy, his name's Entheos AI, a very successful NFT project on Cardano. I think he's probably sold something like 30,000 NFTs in several different series. Awesome stuff. And I can introduce you. He does host a Twitter space every so often. So if you guys want to pop in and talk to him about something, if you have any questions, beginner questions are welcome as well. That'd be a great connection.
Yeah, Entheos is yeah, for the coding guys. Entheos would be a great AI artist to talk to. But like, just for instance, I just did a collaboration with 6 different artists. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not a coder. So like the AI I use is, it's called Night Cafe, right? I mean, there's still some knowledge that you need to know. You can't just go and create whatever you want out of it. But you still, but anyway, so just for an idea of like something that we've done is, we I made a bunch of art pieces. It's called the project's called Who the Fuck is Uncle Sam? And it's kind of funny. That's a different story. But anyway, the project was, I made 420 AI pieces, and then there was 5 musicians who made music for this, specifically for this. And these are musicians that you'll never hear of. These are people like me. Like, we're not really anybody's. We're not on the radio. They're not on TV. Nothing, right? And this is giving these people and myself an opportunity to make money. I mean, we collaborated together. It was 5 musicians, myself, and then we have Willie Boy. He's like the manager, I guess you could say. But you know, so we make an NFT, right? And so all these artists are making money off it. Not only that, but in an NFT, you can put royalties in. So I'm not entirely sure how the royalties are set up on there, but for my personal project, I have royalties set up. So anytime someone sells my artwork on secondary, it's on the blockchain, and I automatically get my percentage of royalties as my NFT is sold. And it's pretty incredible how it all works. So yeah, that's just another example of NFTs.
And imagine that you have a really successful project, and the secondary sales in a marketplace are high, you know, and so say you have 5% royalties. Well, guess what? You get 5% of every sale on secondary market in perpetuity. And it's all on the blockchain. Right? And so you can't escape like the income element of it and taxes, but at the same time, I mean, would you rather pay taxes on zero or something, right?
Yeah, and everything is also tracked. So if someone, you can follow the wallets. That's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of people come out here trying to like exploit people, but they always end up getting caught because you can literally follow the blockchain to the bank account. I mean, yeah, it's pretty. I actually love the technology.
Does it require people to create separate, I guess, NFT? I think they're like nodes or something like that for each. So, for example, you mentioned working with musicians versus developing a project, from, let's say, out of a hackathon or whatever, like for equitable, split on the technology and idea. would you have to like create separate NFTs for each one or something, or like, can you say a little bit more about like at what point is you're actually building a platform from the NFT, if that makes sense? I'm still a little fuzzy about the language, but
Well, I guess it would depend on what kind of platform it is. This can get pretty deep pretty quick. But let's see, what's the best way to explain this? Um, a DApp, right? Which is what we're calling them, a DApp, and say it's a DEX, which is a decentralized exchange. So how that works is you go into this DEX and you have ADA, but you want to swap it for another token. Hosky, let's say. Hosky is a meme coin. It's kind of like Doge or Shiba Inu, if people have heard of those on Ethereum. Hosky is a meme coin, but you want some Hosky and you have ADA. You can swap that right on a DEX, or you can buy Hosky from somebody else using whatever other native token on Cardano that you have. So if you're creating that, you wouldn't have to deal with NFTs at all. You would just have to understand the programming language underneath. Now, there are people building open source stuff that have some knowledge. And by the way, Cardano is based off of Plutus and Haskell. And if people are familiar with Haskell, a lot of big corporations, they utilize it because it's very secure, right? It's hard to mess things up. When you need the code to work in the way that you need it to work, a lot of people use Haskell. A lot of these corporations use Haskell. And even though not a lot of people know Haskell, it's as opposed to like Solidity, which is Ethereum's. It's still a better thing because you learn it and you build it and it's secure, so you're not going to mess it up. But I guess you would have to start there, but it wouldn't have to do with NFTs necessarily. But if you are talking about creating a platform for like music, that's actually happening right now. Of music players right on the blockchain. So what it does is it connects up. This app connects up with your wallet. It sees that you have these different music NFTs, and it loads them into a player. So like Spotify, except for the only thing is that it's verifying that you own the NFT itself, right? So you're not just streaming it. You actually own it. Does that help kind of answer your question a little bit?
yeah, I think it helps clear up the picture a little bit. I appreciate that.
Me or Shaw are experts at this. We've just been around and we're friends with a lot of experts. Let's just say that. And we do have knowledge. Don't get me wrong. It's just getting down to the nitty gritty of things. So we can't do so much, right? I can connect you with people. I can tell you how it's done, and then I can connect you with people who have done it before. So that's kind of our little job here. I'm not an NFT creator myself. I don't draw. I don't 3D model. I don't do anything. I'm more of I don't know. I guess you would call it a facilitator. An idea man within the community. So if someone pops up and they have an idea, they just don't know how to do it or who to talk to to get it going. I'm one of the people that a person would talk to about that, and I'll connect the dots and just get it going.
Yeah, thank you. It's good just to get kind of acculturated into it as well, or just to understand how to navigate the space. So I hear that and I see that from what both of you have been sharing. Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad that we could help. And conversation has to start someplace, and it is camo outreach, right? That's what it's about. Outreach. You have to be there. You have to show up. Say what you have to say, spread some knowledge, whatever your level is. And people ask questions, and if they need something else, a better explanation, then point them in the other direction where that knowledge is. So I appreciate everybody showing up and asking these questions, and also for the opportunity to get up here and connect with other veterans who might have interest in Web3. This is really cool. Well, those are images of my NFTs. So, uh, yeah, an unwritten rule with NFTs. Look, anybody can right click and save, a picture and use it as your PFP, your profile picture on Twitter or whatever. Like you could do it. You could do it right now. But it doesn't mean that you own that artwork, right? You can't take that image that you right click save. You can't sell it. You can't. With an NFT, that's what you can do. You go to a marketplace and you list it for sale for whatever price that you want, and someone either buys it or they don't. And so it seems ridiculous, the idea of NFTs, just because anybody can just right click save, but they don't own it, and that's the thing. And there is a community of people who do buy and sell NFTs. So it's just a way of it, and especially with music. Someone was mentioning earlier. That's when my phone froze up. But it is providing so much opportunity that I know so many people who have been making music for years, maybe even decades, and they've been connected up, maybe even had a record contract, but they didn't make any money or barely any money, or they put it on Spotify, a couple 100,000 streams on their song. Guess what? They didn't make any money. They made $100 or something like that. And over how long? Well, say you get connected in with the community and you're a musician, you release your song as an NFT, sell it for, I don't know, say 10 ADA, which right now is $5 because ADA is about 50 cents right now. Well, you 500 of these you have for sale. Well, you just made some money. You probably made more money just selling your songs than at any other time, because we're not all going to make it in music. You know what I mean? It's really hard to. So it gives people a little bit of agency there, to take their intellectual property and sell it and make something off of it. And yeah, maybe you're not a millionaire, but you're still making money off of something you created. And I think that's an important part. Yeah, not a problem, man. Thanks again for the invite. It was really nice connecting. And again, please connect with me on Twitter. I'll give you a follow back, and I hope we can further these connections here and relationships. Maybe next time, if there's anybody if there's any topic that you think would be valuable, I'm more than I'll reach out to anybody. I can reach out to Entios. He's a big supporter of service people, policemen, firemen, military. He's not a veteran himself, but he actually helped me organize a huge charity auction a long time ago, maybe about a year ago. I think I raised something like $1,500. People were donating NFTs, and we auctioned off this wallet full of NFTs, some really cool ones too. $1,500 went to the Seven Stars Foundation, and that's I won't explain it, but it's a veterans organization. Um, so if you ever want to talk AI, I'm sure I could get him on here. Whenever your next hackathon is. Yeah, no questions for me. I apologize. I live on the East Coast at 7, and I have to eat some dinner. But I did see that he followed me on Twitter, so I'm really curious about his story. And is this is going to be recorded, right? I'll be able to go back and watch this.